Let's go for another rip. What is going on today, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I want to give you guys a review of the Axis 1150, and this wing has changed the game for me. So I'm coming from the Quantum 100, which, by the way, is a great wing. I still recommend that wing for someone learning to pump, and it works behind the boat just when you're not used to that much of a high aspect wing. A little tough. This one's even more high aspect. Haven't been behind the boat on this one yet, but just for off the dock pumping, this thing is insane. I was never successfully able to just run Dockstart, the Quantum 100. This wing changed that for me. And I didn't find that out initially. I was using the Dockstarter that I made, and as you know, any kind of waves make it almost impossible to use the Dockstarter. The way I have it configured, at least, because it moves, and then it just becomes a little sketchy. It may want to like tilt back and come back on the dock, or it may want to just shoot off in the water. You gotta jump in and go get it. Well, what happened was I was using it with the Dockstarter. First off, this thing is so much more efficient and you get way more glide, so that threw me off initially using the Dockstarter. But once I got the hang of that, I was using it, I was able to pump off, kind of got the feel for the wing. The reason that I quit using it is because it actually broke. I was going to jump on it, a wave kind of came through, it started to go forward, I was already in the air committing, or about to be in the air. I land on it, and I heard like a snap, and then I actually had a decent launch. But I came back and I saw a piece of the PVC, one of the arms, in the water. It didn't, not where it glues, not one of the joints, but it just snapped the PVC completely. I think it was too much weight. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll go get it, and then it sank. So I had the caps on it so it wouldn't sink, but I think it was just such a gashed hole in it that it just sank really fast. I couldn't get over to it. But that made me have to do the run method, and I was never able to pull it off the Quantum 100. I think I just needed more speed, to be honest. I know it was doable. I just couldn't do it. I think I'd have a better chance now that I'm used to it more, but regardless, with this wing, on the first try, I was able to at least pump a little bit farther out. I was like, okay, this is doable. And so after run 3, I was pumping around like nothing. And now I have a more consistent launch with this, and I don't need the Dockstarter anymore. The Dockstarter would be a great method for somebody with a really calm lake or the wintertime when there's not a lot of boats, but when there is a lot of boats, because it's later in the day, you're not real early, this is a really good method to have down, especially if you want to wake thieve, because when you're wake thieving, typically, at least on this lake, there's a lot of boats coming by, so that Dockstarter is never going to have a chance to have level water to where you can get a successful launch off of it. Whereas this wing, it may not matter as much. Alright, so a boat just came by and woke up the water a little bit. I know it probably doesn't come through on camera, but I'm going to show you guys how much easier it is to Dockstart this wing. So I'm not saying that the Dockstarter isn't a good thing to learn on. I just think when you get a little bit more advanced and you have maybe a little bit easier equipment to work with, that you're going to want to do the run and Dockstart, because I can do that anywhere where the launcher, I kind of have to customize it to the size of the dock that I'm on. The river near my house, the dock is this far off the water, right? So I made basically a dock launcher with a lift kit on it. And I was going to, basically clamp those down and run and use that. But even then, it takes a long time to set up. It gets in people's way if they need to use the dock while you're using it if you're in a public place. Obviously this is a private dock, so it doesn't matter, but this is way easier to set up and take down. You gotta walk up all these stairs. It's just not fun to take with you, and you rely on it. It's really good training wheels though. Once my training wheels broke, I guess that's when I had to learn how to do this, but I'm really glad that I did. It makes it way more consistent for me, at least. If I was on a calmer lake, I'd probably still be using it, but this lake has a lot of waves that come by, a lot of boats. It's more of a, not a fisherman's lake, but it's more of a water sport lake. So, let's go for another rip. So with the efficiency of this wing, note the low speed I'm able to dock start at. That plus the efficiency when pumping is why I think I've progressed so much in such a short amount of time. And then now it's just about getting a more efficient cadence down and then, you know, falling out of the sky. Alright, so pumping for 1 minute. This has been an extremely hard challenge that has been so much fun to try and get better at. One thing to note is how fast my cadence is here. Yeah, no gliding at all, so I'm using a ton of energy and probably just didn't need to be, especially when I was turning. I realize now that you can glide a little bit more in the turns, and even when you're going straight, it's really nice to just be able to glide, conserve a little bit of energy, and as long as you stay high enough up on that mast where that wing is, as close to the top of the water as you can get, the glides are extremely efficient too. So I think if I'd have done that, even in this clip here, I would have easily made it over a minute. But you can see, I think I'm about to get tired here. We're at about, 45 seconds-ish. And this next clip is a dock near my house, and you'll notice right off the bat that the dock is a lot lower than the dock at the lake. So I've had to get used to running with the board a little bit more like knee level. So that's been kind of nice, but I have to jump up onto the board instead of jumping down to the board. So it takes a little bit more energy right off the bat because I don't have gravity on my side. But this creek is about 3 feet deep, 2 feet in some spots, and even 1 foot in others. So I have to be pretty careful about where I go. But in this clip, you could probably see how I was able to use the glides a little bit more to my advantage, staying a little bit higher up on the mast and conserving energy so I could pump longer. I also tried to use the drone active track, and that kind of bit me here as the drone lost me, and I think I pumped for a little bit over a minute. But we all know that if it wasn't on video, that it didn't happen, so that's why I'll be going back soon to make sure that it does get filmed and to work on improving my technique for more efficiency, which should ultimately lead to a longer pumping duration. And if anyone has any suggestions on how I can improve, please leave a comment below. I'm still very much new to this, and any feedback is much appreciated. And in this last clip, little spoiler, I get to about 49 seconds, which I believe is my longest film time. So I'm extremely close to that 1 minute mark, and I'm pretty confident that I'll get it on the next session, and then of course the next video. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one.